Hello everyone, and you're watching Bitcoin Bubble news channel. You already know that there will be a move today. The big question is whether it will be enough to push it above this line or whether the pivot line will push Bitcoin back down. Based on the charts, we can see that the markets are staying put and not moving much. Now let's look at the Nasdaq 100 again. This is the daily chart and I want to show you guys this, right? If we look at this chart and keep an eye on this trend line, we can see that we opened above it yesterday and were pushed back down. In other words, it was turned down again. In the end, that keeps us below but also brings it to this important level before the Fed decision today. Are we finally going to break out and go up, maybe even back to the Nasdaq's all-time highs? Or are we going to get turned down and start going down again? Finally, I want to talk about a couple of things. First, I'm going to bring this up so we can get back to my main screen. Please stay with me while I talk about this. I'll check to see if I can do this. I'm not able to do it. Not a big deal. It's not a big deal right now, but the point is that the rate will either go down by 50 basis points or 25 basis points today. If we look at the Fed watch tool right now, the odds are that there will be a 63% chance that there will be a 50 basis point cut. That's what the markets are most likely to do right now. What I think will happen is that the markets will see a 50 basis point cut as a big gain at first. If you get one of those God candles, prices will go up a lot. But I think that once the dust settles, the markets will start to worry and ask, wait a minute, why 50 basis points? What is wrong with the money? By the end of the year, 125 basis points should be the case. I also believe that we might sell off on a 50 basis point cut by the end of the day or the next day. If the Fed cuts rates by 25 basis points, I think they actually say, okay. Or at least the markets say that at first they were all unhappy. I think that by the end of the day, the markets could undo that early drop and recover back to the flat line or the upside. Because once again, the Fed is saying that the economy isn't that bad. We just had to move 25 points. Okay, so once more, a few things there. Let's look at the output for 10 years now. Let us go back to the charts. And here are a few more charts that we want to look over. I'd like to see the NVIDIA map. NVIDIA is in a shape called a wedge. That's pretty easy to see here. Again, the wedge pattern is just this chop that goes from side to side as price tries to figure out if it will go up, hit resistance and break out. If not, will it finally break down to this level of professional support? That being said, which way does it go? We're stuck in the middle band. Guys, I want to talk about something now. I just talked about this with Ben in the dealing room, right? This is moving forward. Now, you all know that I bring you institutional trade secrets and things that I think are important for us to talk about as people who live in this country and the world. And this makes me crazy. This chart caught my eye. I had no idea it went on for so long, but in the end, it was completely crazy. That means we're talking about progressive, right? So forward thinking, guys. This is an insurance company that does a lot of different things besides just car insurance. The number of visitors is also at an all-time high. Let's take a look at the charts if we can. I guess we can't do the charts right now, but my point is that we need to be aware of the insurance stocks at this point in the game. How many of us are paying more for insurance? How many of us are just about to lose our homes because of rising prices? All of these things, guys, summarize, think about how crazy it is that these things are getting these companies going. They're getting more money than ever. But what are we really seeing? It costs a lot more for you and me. Take a look at this chart. What the heck is going on if I look at the monthly chart for Progressive? This is an insurance company again. Why does this one keep going up? It looks like the company is making more and more money, but each month you and I pay more for car insurance. There's something wrong. And really that is silly. Now that we're done with Travelers TRV, let's talk about a few other things. On the visitors chart, I want to show you something like this. This is the monthly trip chart for you. Once more, guys, let's go here. We'll check out this camera. The numbers are now up and running. Take a look at this move up and down on the chart for visitors. The same thing. What the heck are you, me, everyone else in the US, and possibly everyone else in the world paying so much to get insurance? Almost every time, the cost of insurance goes up by the same amount. Insurance and rent are the two things that are rising the most. What the heck? They're getting richer and richer. If I were a politician running for president, which I would never want, I would be looking at this more than anything else. The silliness of this would bother me. In this case, it shows that they are making more and more money. Even so, you and I were always paying more, and it's getting harder to keep up with these insurance quotes. Also, the worst thing about it is that my house recently had a leak. They found a way not to cover it, which is what you would expect. What the heck? I'd like to quickly look at Bitcoin's picture. Guys, this is a very important level for Bitcoin going into today's action. Bitcoin is just below the big pivot line if we look at it. The main center line is now here. It seems a bit strange to look at this chart and think, okay, we're right at this major pivot line and we're about to make the Federal Reserve FOMC decision, doesn't it? Take a look at that. That being said, there will be some kind of move today. The big question is whether it will be enough to push it above this line, or will the pivot line push Bitcoin down again? Keep in mind that the road of least resistance is still down, but sometimes you need something to push it through that level. Today, will the Fed be that spark? We'll find out today. We'll have a pretty good idea of where Bitcoin is going to end the day by the time I do trading the close today, since that's after the Federal Reserve makes its news. Also, I will be talking about the Bitcoin chart in my live today at 2 p.m., which is 1.555 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm going to trade with you all. If I see trades that have a good chance of going through, we'll do them all here in the studio with my trading account and all that fun stuff. Okay. And that's Bitcoin right there. We'll keep going with that. I also wanted to take a quick look at gold as we go through it. And let's look at gold. Here are a few important things about gold. For starters, you're at a very important point, just like Bitcoin. So if we look at this chart, it's easy to see that we're at the top of an inclining wedge shape. Remember that for inclining wedge shapes, you have something like this, an inclining wedge, and you move in this way. You can go above them sometimes, but most of the time they lead to moves down. As you all know, I've been a huge gold bull for over a year now, but I'm still not sure about this. Still, I believe that the weak hands that are coming late to the party should be thrown out. Still, I believe it will reach $3,000 an ounce sometime next year. However, I wouldn't be shocked if they were able to take a short-term dip and then push it back up to get the weak hands out. No one does that. Markets and institutions do it. Also, I talk about this a lot when I tell you guys secrets about the institutions. Don't think that they don't know everyone who is long gold, maybe not my name, but how many longs, how many retail longs, how many commercial longs, and how many commercial longs, and how many commercial could be institutional longs and shorts. They know all of this information. The NASDAQ and the FCC are told about all of this information. They should know this, right? The idea is that when too many people get on one side of the market, price tends to go the other way. This happens when there aren't enough buyers or sellers on either side. On the other hand, there are times when it's very simple to make short squeezes or flush outs because too many weak hands are long. Just keep an eye on that gold. We are still going to watch it. Here are a few more things to talk about as we go through silver. When we look at silver, it is right at the top of this line of trend, which once more is very important because that important decision is coming up later today.